All right. Hello everyone and welcome to stream. I'm sorry, I was rushing. I went out for a birthday lunch and then now I was like, oh shoot, that's right. Stream. And then I have another birthday thing after dinner, and then I have another event to go to tonight, and then I have to start packing. Anyway, hello everybody, I hope you're doing well today. I hope your day is less hectic than mine is currently. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing epic and cool. How is your day? Tell me, everybody. How are you vibing today? How's the energy? How's the day treating you? Because it is currently storming here. Oh, the sun is out while it's storming. That's great. Lemongrass pork, dude, it was so good. It was lemongrass pork and rice. Went to a pho place, and I didn't get pho. I got lemongrass pork. Today's been alright. Super excited for the stream. You love to see it. Glad that your day was good, button. But alright. Storm was really bad earlier. Yeah, it is. It was rough. We got like a severe thunderstorm running. It was crazy. Hope you're all doing well. Oh my god, so many mods. Hello, Joe, Kevin, and Vin. Pretty good. Epic. You love to see it. Sorry that I'm stalling a little bit. I'm putting my nail back on. Alright. I hope you're all doing well, though. I hope today is doing good. As the title suggests, we are doing an art style study today of, Hikari Shimoda. Bringing the tornado warning? No tornado warning, but there was a severe thunderstorm warning. We are doing an art style study of Hikari Shimoda. And if you don't know who that artist is, I will be showing you some of her work. What won the poll? I actually didn't check. Whoops! Hang on, let me go check. Let me go check like right now. Just so I know what nebula we are going to be taking a look at. Community! Let's see here. Oh, it's the Butterfly Nebula. Good choice. Alright. Yes, we'll be making a piece inspired by the Butterfly Nebula. And I'll be sort of walking you through my process of doing some kind of art style study. But before we get to that, this stream is sponsored, epically, by the lovely XP Pen. Once again, I'd like to thank our sponsor for this stream, XP Pen, who have an awesome selection of digital art tablets for both beginners and advanced artists. So if you're looking for an affordable and reliable digital tablet, go browse their store. Go take a look. You'll find the link in the description of this video. Pretty cool, pretty epic. And as we know as well, before we have to get started, because if you didn't know though, our growing community is filled with tons of art nerds, and we art nerds have to stick together. So if you're an art nerd too, be sure to check the link to our social media in the description below, and check out our website for our class offerings where you can get critique, guidance, and encouragement from our instructors, because we're not just a YouTube channel, we are a school of illustration. I also want to personally thank our incredible Patreon and YouTube members who support us in making free art education content. Members get access to tons of perks like exclusive chats with our creators, weekly live critiques on Discord, class recordings, digital art working files from our streams, and discounts on live programs that have a limited amount of spots. So if you want to help support the channel or accelerate your learning, consider becoming a member. Epically. Pretty sick. Now this is epic. Very epic indeed. Alright, I have to open up these files because I didn't get to properly do credits on all of them, but we have our submissions. It's art submissions time. Cool and epic. Again, if you didn't know, joining the Discord will also allow you access to submit your work for monthly themes that will be featured at the beginning of streams. Pretty cool. So this month's theme is Show Me the Emotion. So we want to see all your emotional artworks, all of your expressions, all of your cool ways that you get to draw out emotions. This one is by Cheese Bags in the Discord. Great name. I love these. This is like a very, very classic sort of like expression study. Really fun proportions. That's super like, not realistic, but like a very stylized way of working. Very Pixar, very New Age Disney. I really like these. They're super, super fun. Well done. Thank you so much for submitting. This next one is by Jamathan Art, or Gabe, in the Discord. I got to see this one as multiple works in progress in the members chat. Really, really cool stuff. I've been watching this guy's progress for a while. It's really cool to see him sort of adapt this style that he's been working towards for a really long time. So, you know what? It's great to see the improvement on the shadows, great to see the improvement on the anatomy. You love to see it. It's a great time to get to see the progress of artists. I love it. It's one of the best things about being an instructor or a teacher, seeing your own students or people who you are instructing get better over time. So, pretty cool to see their work get better. Thank you so much for submitting. This next piece is by Windy. Windy spells W-I-N-D-E-E, not with a Y, but 2 E's. Windy in the Discord. Super cute. Love me a good winged child. Got some sad emotion going on here. I find that a lot of artists really like to draw people crying. It's weirdly therapeutic. I will agree. I will attest to it. Drawing your own characters in distress is great therapy, actually. So we love to see it. Wings, said by winged artist. That's great. You know what? Very thematic for you. But yes, love the expression, love the pose. Thank you so much for submitting. This next one is by Zed is Tired in the Discord. Zed is Tired. Love this pose. I love a good foreshorten. I love a good, fun, sort of weird pose from a strange angle. It is really, really cool stuff. I have started to work with a lot, well, not started, but I've been working with a lot more warm colors. I think, like, when I was younger, I worked with a lot of cold colors. And then slowly, as I got older, the colors that I started using got warmer and warmer. So, all these oranges and reds are really, really nice. But then you have a character dressed in blue, so it's that nice, like a good, like, pop out by comparison to these very warm colors. So it really helps this character stand out a lot. Fun stuff, fun stuff. Thank you so much for submitting. Last but certainly not least, jump scare warning. This last piece is by Lorx. This one is hilarious. I love this piece a lot. Really cool rendering, really cool choice of color. Oh my lord, did you hear that? Is it getting picked up on the mic? Did you guys hear that one? Did you hear the thunder? Lord. But no, this is a cool one. I like this piece a lot. It was really, really fun. The like single highlight spots are... Oh, I know, I heard it. Yeah, it was a loud one. The like pinpricks of light really sharpen this image a lot, or the image, help me, really sharpen this illustration a lot and really give, it adds a lot. It gives like a lot more structure to the illustration. Really, really cool. Thank you so much for submitting. And thank you to everybody who submitted their work for today. Again, if you would like to submit your work for future streams, you're gonna have to join the Discord and submit your stuff based on the theme for the month. Again, this month's theme is Show Me the Emotion. So once August is done, then when you roll into September, that will no longer be the theme. So you got a new theme every single month. But, you know, join the Discord, talk to other art nerds, talk to other people who might be fellow artists. You know, maybe talk to me. I show up once in a blue moon. So, hey, pretty cool, pretty epic. Pop in, say hello. Alright, cool and epic. Cool and epic. Do I know the theme yet for September? No, I don't. I could certainly find it, but I don't know it off the top of my head, no. But yes, as the title of the stream today suggests, we are going to be doing a Hikari Shimoda study. And for those who don't know her, let me pull up a little bit of her work. Hikari Shimoda is a traditional artist. She's known for these really, really kind of abstract, very experimental portraits of these mysterious, starry-eyed children. I mean, there's Miku, but there's, you know, these very fantasy, starry-eyed kids that usually have horns or a horn of some kind. Lots of bright pinks, greens, blues, very, very bright, colors. Is really interesting rendering. These images are not the highest quality, but do you mind? I think the sky's angry, guys. I'm so sorry. She's loud today. That's traditional? Oh, yes! Yeah, they're all traditional. I can't remember if they're acrylic or oils. Let's look it up. Hikari Shimoda. I know she's multimedia, but it is like paint. Just a character. Heroic cautious, a Superman, magical cosmos. Yeah, I'm great. Hikari Shimoda, medium. Yeah, a lot of it is like collage, but it's acrylic. Okay, so it's mostly acrylic from what I'm seeing. But yes, it is traditional. They are really, really big. Members get access to the themes early. True. Whoa, Miku, yeah. How big of a canvas does that have to be? I think they're all really big. Like, they're all pretty big canvases. Like, if you go to her Instagram, a lot of them are, like, a couple feet, at least. Here, we can look on her Instagram for a second. Right, we've got a lot of, like, kind of big ones here. Here, see? This is about how large, right? These sort of canvases go. They're pretty big canvases. Pretty large looking. Yeah, some of them are with... Here, you see? There's poor medium. There's newspaper. I know she was doing stuff with... Yeah, here you go. There's some, like, masking so she can use spray paint, stuff like that. It's really cool. Like, I've been following her work for a really long time. Oh, here's a video of her, like, removing some of the masking. She could spray paint. No, it's not digital. Her work is traditional. Here, you can watch her taking off the masking process. It's pretty sweet. Yeah. Fun stuff, fun stuff. Yeah, we are going to be doing a style study of her work today, which just means I'm going to do a piece of my own that kind of matches the way that she works. I'm going to be working digitally, though, of course, so it's not going to be traditionally done, because I'm not going to just bust out a whole canvas to work on stuff like this right now. Yeah, you see? It's cool stuff. And she masks stuff off to get these, like, really sharp, single... really flat-looking colors that give that sort of digital look. Scroll on Instagram with me. Yeah. This whole stream is just me scrolling on Instagram. That's it. Yeah. Just in a small little humble studio. Oh, dog! Cute! But, yeah. So, we are going to be mimicking this style today. We're going to be taking looks at this style of work. And we'll be mimicking it together. Well, I will be mimicking it. You get to watch me mimic it. Here, I'm gonna pull up just another sort of file over here so then I can just take the refs and put them over there so I can have them off to the side for myself. Just so I can constantly have them up for me. Okay, cool and epic. And again, we are going to be taking inspiration, because they are starry-eyed children, you know, stars, cool stuff. We are going to be taking inspiration from the Butterfly Nebula, which is a type of nebula that is real. Butterfly Nebula, there we go. NGC 6302. Wow. Every time that I see a nebula now, all I can think of is just like, oh, I saw something like that in Outer Wilds. Oh, yeah, Outer Wilds. It has nebulas. It has stars exploding. Yeah, that's like a main theme of the game. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, I can relate to this. This is something that I see all the time. Yes, these streams will be available afterwards as well. As for the character that I'm going to be drawing, we just so happen to have a very starry-eyed character in the D&D campaign that I play in. So that is who I'm going to be illustrating today. His name is Aetros. Yeah, very front-facing sort of portraits, really big eyes, usually have horns. Fun. Aetros has horns too, that's great. Makes my life a lot easier. The only difference is that Aetros isn't a kid, so I guess I will have to just be drawing Aetros as if he is a child. Butterfly Nebula sounds like some kind of My Little Pony character. It really does! Yeah! It would be like some kind of like astronomer who also does bug taxidermy. Although, to be fair, I don't think they would show bug taxidermy in a My Little Pony episode. Well, maybe they would. You know what? Maybe they would. I'm also gonna be mimicking the anatomy that I see. I have like chubby cheeks, small nose. Big, wide, open eyes. That will be filled with stars and various other patterns by the end. One of those being a butterfly nebula. Tell us about your child. This child? This child is not mine. This is my friend's child. One of the other players. Same campaign as Korn. This is Aetros. Aetros is our tiefling sorcerer warlock. He's our healer. Still a child? No. I'm borrowing my friend's character to draw him for this stream. Yeah, he's not my character. I did get to play my new one of my new characters though. Nightjar. We were playing not D&D, but another tabletop, Candela Obscura. That was fun. It was a lot of fun. It's like a horror mystery kind of game where like weird phenomena are happening and we have to figure out what's going on, and then if we can contain it, then we should. If not, we can hand it off to another like group for their like for them to take care of it, but like if we could take care of it, we can, kind of thing. Yes, borrowing, yes. I'm just taking a notice. I'm looking at the hair of these illustrations as well. They're very rarely single-toned. You've got a lot of multicolor stuff going on here, which is really cool. So it'll be really fun to play around with color for this one as well. Because I've mentioned before in other streams, I'm really not that experimental when it comes to color. I think I could be better about it and making more interesting sort of combinations, so this is a good way of me getting better at that. I like how quickly you can do a breakdown of an art style. Yeah, I think it's really important as an artist to be able to recognize what other artists do. Like, I think that is a good way for you to get better at art, because then you can recognize what it is that you enjoy about other people's work. But then you can also just break down your own artwork and then recognize what processes you want to do as well. Art style studies are a pretty common lesson in wing canvas classes, exclamation point classes. One of my classes specifically, I believe, will have there is an art style study day where I will be instead doing one of my favorite artists. Like, I mean, I really like Hikari Shimoda. I really like her work. It's cool. I probably would do... There's a couple of, like, artists that I would pick as well to do style breakdowns of. Writing down specific aspects of stuff from artists I like. Yeah, that's good. That's a good way of practicing, I think. Yeah, definitely help for colors for sure. I have to change how Aetros looks a little for this specifically. I also have to change the way that I draw hair as well. Because I don't really do this very wispy sort of way of working anymore. I haven't done it for a while. I'm very chunky with the way that I draw my hair now. I'm not very wispy anymore. It's the difference in influence as well. Because I was a very heavy, like, anime kid. So it's like this kind of wispy, very, like, thin strand way of drawing hair is very, like, Japanese. It's a very Japanese way of working. It's not a way that I work too much anymore, especially if you see how I stylize hair now. A lot of it is very, like, fluffy, very chunky. I sort of treat it all like it's one big shape by comparison to thinking of it as a bunch of strands. Apologies if you could hear the thunder again. She's angry. The clouds are angry. The skies are angry. Still developing my personal style. I've attempted a variety of digital styles and feeling like my software level is pretty good. Good. You really don't want to draw. My hand is shaking. That's practice, bruh. You just gotta keep going at it. Hair looks soft. Yeah. I'm changing up Aetros' horns just a little bit. They're usually more intricate than this. And they get this treatment to make them simplified a little bit more. Just a little more simplified, just so we can get something a little more reminiscent of this style. I'm also realizing these eyes are not quite the shape. They're a bit too much like mine. Let's fix that. Let's really, really take a look at these eyes that we've got going on. They're a lot rounder. Like a lot rounder. Not quite almond. They are more circular. They do kind of remind me of a fish. Galaxy fish. Need a tour box and an update to iPad compatible. I don't think you need a tour box for... Like, tour box is really nice. I think you don't need any extra gadgets. Like, especially if you're working with an iPad, you have... Like, everything is touchscreen. You also have... like, touchscreen shortcuts available for you. Like, you know, double tap on the screen for undo, redo. Zoom in, zoom out is really easy because it's all, like, touchscreen right there. Like, I would personally say that having all of your functions just touchscreen right there available to you is a little bit more... What do you call it? Is more efficient than having another gadget with you, personally. Like, that's how I'm seeing it, anyway. How often do you practice drawing? Daily. This is my full-time job. I am an artist as my job. This is my job. It's not like I am like, oh, I have to practice today. It's, I have to go to work. I have pieces to finish, I have artwork that I need to do, I have logos to design, I have, you know, that kind of thing. Trying to draw, I'm just making doodles of Chitan. Oh, yo, I love Chitan. Chitan is so good. Yeah, no, I mean, I, like... What's your favorite and least favorite process in digital art? Favorite is probably either the sketch or the lines, just because I really love line art. Least favorite, I think, is the flat coloring, just because it's kind of boring. I'm like, everything else is like, has some kind of like, oh, I get to play around with this, I get to mess with this. Flat coloring is kind of just like, yeah, I'm putting in the base. It's just kind of there. But no, I love drawing in general. Really good job. I love it. Yeah. Art's fun. Art's a good time. But yeah, I'm always working. It's that kind of thing where it's like, a couple months back I went on vacation to go and visit my partner, and I brought my portable like tablet with me, and I was like, sorry babe, I need to work while I'm here. I'm like, I have work to finish while I'm here, you know. Aetros is a little spooky in this style. That's okay. Alright. There's no lines in this style. Not properly, anyway. We do have, like... Yeah. We have, like, some, like, lines, quote-unquote, with some of these guys. But it's, like, painted in. Like, the lines are not so... Except for her more recent work, she does have very thick, line work. But, like, the work that she's... more known for is it's very integrated. The lines are part of the painting. Here, I'll show you, right? It's not like, it's like, you could see there are lines, but they're not like these thick, hard black lines. They are integrated into the painting. They are different colors, they are different shapes, you know, that kind of thing. This one as well, right? There is line art, but it's not super prevalent, so I'm not gonna make the line super prevalent either. Maybe do some really thin line work, but it won't be even close to the shining star of the piece, I guess. Let's use, which brush should we use? It's not really, here's the thing, is that it's not very textured. That's the thing. It's like, in terms of like the lines. But it is still... We'll go with this, just to give it the more natural sort of look, I suppose. These lines are very, very thin, so... have to work as if I am in high school again. Try to get these super thin lines in there. I am not a thin line artist. I really don't like thin lines. I find that they don't have enough nuance for me. And like, I really don't like working with really thin line work, but this style calls for it, so... Thin it is! You know? Interesting style. Yeah! Hi, Novita. No, I like this style a lot. It's one of those ways of working where I'm like, I think it is important to still sort of recognize artists that are really outside of either your comfort zone or like what you think is like the kind of art that you would like intake, because then you can also recognize what you don't like in artists. Because sometimes people will like look at an artist and go like, oh, I hate their work, and people will ask you why, and they just go, I don't know, I just hate it, right? Which is, on the one hand, you know, like, you're entitled to your opinion, but on the other hand, it makes you seem really shallow. It's like, I can take a look at, like, art styles that I really don't like, and people will be like, why don't you like that art style, Jesse? And I'm like, let me break down why I don't like this art style. And that is something that I pride myself in being able to do. Because I don't want to just say that I dislike something just because. It makes me feel bad, because I'm like, that's no good, you know? But it's like, again, you're entitled to your opinion, but I don't like doing that. Oops. So I'm like, I would rather give somebody a reason why. Oh, what does the D&D character look like normally? Let me grab an Aetros really quickly. Character references. Let's go grab Aetros. There you are. I didn't draw this one. This was drawn by a friend of mine, the person who plays Aetros. There he is. This is what Aetros normally looks like. He's got way more intricate horns. He's an adult. You know, he's not a child. He's got way more intricate horns. He's got these scars on his face that are actually just closed eyes. He's got eyebrows, a tail, you know. Aetros is cool. I love Aetros. Tiefling? Yes! Aetros is our Tiefling Sorlock. Warlock Sorcerer. Yeah, he no longer has this charm. He had to give it to the Wild Mother to figure out what to do about an old party member. And now he has a... what's the word? It's not a tiara, not a crown. A circlet. He has a circlet that's tied between his horns, and that's his, like, super powerful weapon. Like, Khorne has a really strong, like, axe, and that's his super powerful weapon. Aetros has that circlet that, like, helps him heal really, really well. Helps him heal and do magic really, really well. Bro's majestic, yeah. Big man. Aetros is actually one of the shortest in the party. Aetros is 5'8" with his heels, 5'6" without, if I remember correctly. Or a little shorter without, I don't totally remember. Size not quite correct. Yeah, he's one of the shortest of the party. Tallest is Pierce at 6'4". Or Aetros is one of the tallest adults of the party. Because obviously we have kids in the party, and of course they're gonna be shorter. My god. I just didn't want to, like, technically what I could do, I am working digitally, I could just copy paste the eye, but I don't want to do that. The only reason I don't want to do that is because this work is traditional, and I want to keep up the integrity. Oh, hello? What happened there? I want to keep up the integrity of it being traditional as much as possible. Okay, this is fascinating. So the hair, even though it's really, really wispy, that's all in the colors. So the actual lines that are there for the hair are actually very simple. It's more like that, yeah. So it's like not as crazy. I shouldn't be trying to thicken that up, because that's like an automatic thing. I'm like, I need to thicken this line up. You shouldn't. This is not your style. This is not how you work. Khorne is the tallest at 6'9". No, Khorne is 4'2". Pierce is the tallest at 6'4". If Khorne was an adult, yes, he would be the tallest at around 7 feet tall. Just under 7 feet, or just at 7 feet tall. Because Khorne's a dragonborn, so he is going to become the biggest of the party. What do I usually listen to while drawing? Depends. So, I might either listen to, what do you call it? I might listen to music. I listen to a really wide variety of music, so it depends on what I'm trying to draw, which will change what I'm listening to. In terms of music, in terms of if it's not music, I listen to two things, right? I either listen to Smosh reading Reddit posts, or I listen to horror stories specifically narrated by the Dark Somnium. Because he's my favorite narrator, so I'm like, I like his narrations a lot. Oh, I see. This cheek is lower than this one. Let's fix that. Because I like the Dark Somnium's, like, production a lot, so I listen to his stories. Or, again, smosh reading Reddit posts. Because I like their opinions a lot. I like what they have to say a lot. They're funny. Bro, same, yeah! Never heard of this artist before. The well-known individual in the art world or not? Oh, yes. No, they're very, very popular. They're in the same sort of sphere as, like, James Jean and stuff like that. Very, very popular sort of people. Love Dark Somnium. Yeah! Love the Dark Somnium. To turn something on and listen to a pause for whatever reason. I get so locked in I forget to turn it on again. LOL. I have like a weird superpowers. So that I discovered in college because I had a lot of really tight deadlines. If I want my work to look 10 times better, I listen to a story or like a podcast of some kind, because for some reason, I listen to a story or a podcast or something, I lock in and my work ends up looking way better. However, the downfall to that is that I work like 10 times slower. So an illustration that would normally take me like 2 hours will take me like 4 if I am listening to like a podcast. It'll like double the amount of time needed. So I get a lot slower, but my work will look a lot better. On the other hand, if I listen to music, my work will be a lot faster. Like, I'll work at the same amount of speed that I'm used to working at. However, my work will look a little more standard. So I won't really be... It won't be anything crazy. It won't look as good as, like, it could look. If it was, you know, like, not. Like, it would look as good as it normally would, but I will work a lot faster. So I'm like, if I am on a really tight deadline, I listen to music. If I can take it a bit slower, I listen to podcasts or like stories or anything like that. So a lot of my commissions, I tend to listen to stories. Except during the sketching phase, because I can't focus on the story if it's during the sketching phase, so I have to put on music during then. But it doesn't really affect too much because I am a very fast sketcher, so that doesn't really bother me too much. Doesn't that distract you? Nope. It usually helps me lock in, actually, the story, because art... Like, I've been doing it for so long to the point where art... Like, I'm talking and I'm drawing at the same time. Art is no longer a thing where I have to focus all the time. And, like, especially at certain points of the process, or if I'm working in a style that I'm very used to, it's that kind of thing where it's like, yep, this is second nature now. I don't need to think anymore. And I'm like, yep, I am just able to just... Boom, I go. I go and I have what I need, kind of thing, you know? Jesse's 10 times slower as our normal pace. You should put on YouTube and draw. It depends on the, like, YouTube. Because, like, I can't have something that's, like, gameplay, because I'll want to pay attention to the gameplay. If it is, again, like, just a podcast, just, like, a... something like that, then, yeah, I will listen to that. Or at least the gameplay is boring. Yeah, I guess if it's, like, repetitive. But usually I won't watch a gaming video if it's boring. Like, that's not the kind of games that I tend to watch. It's like, I like heavy story. I have a favorite episode? Ugh. That's hard. I really liked, the time my brother died and he kept talking. That's a really good one. That one was really, really cool. A recent one, that he did was I bought my wife a life extension plan. And usually, like, those kinds of stories, like, where it deals with spouse are not, like, my type of story. It's, like, because usually it's, like, they betray their spouse in some way, and it's like, man, you're just dumb. Why would you ever do that? And then I hate the main character. So I was, like, I had, like, not read or not listened to that story for, like, ever, because I was just, like, I kind of made the assumption, I'm like, I'm not gonna like this. But then one day I was, like, kind of desperate. And, like, I'd re-listened to a bunch of the stories, and I was like, you know what, I'll just listen to one, why not? I'll listen to this, fine. Like, if I hate it, at least it'll, like, pull up the time. I was crying so hard by the end, it was so sad. It was like a tragic, like, romance horror. It was a horror, but it was so sad. I was crying my eyes out. There's that one. The Hidden Web Page is a really good one too. I like that one a lot. Yeah, I was glad we could help you, Jamie. No, I was, those are really good ones. The Hidden Web Page and, I bought my wife a life extension plan. I bought my wife a life extension plan is so, like, if you guys are into horror, you like listening to horror stories, this one, it's not horror per se. Like, it is horror, it's scary, but it's about, like, the fragility of life and, like, spending as much time with your loved ones as you can because you don't know how much time you have left. That kind of thing. I was sobbing by the end. I was like, there are tears. I was texting my partner. I was like, there are tears everywhere on me. I am a mess. What is happening? The story is so good. Yeah, that was a really good one. Psychological horror. Yeah, it's psychological in the way where it's not necessarily like, oh, it's like a thought experiment. It's something that kind of makes you think. If you want some kind of psychological horror that, like, because I love listening to horror, just in general, but I'm kind of a horror junkie, so it's like, especially listening to horror stories, it's very rare that any of them will actually scare me. So my favorite horror stories are always the ones that just make me think. It's like the ones that make me think about it afterwards, and I'm like, that was a good story. The Hidden Web Page had me looking over my shoulder for half of that story. And that's not a joke. That story was terrifying. I was, like, sitting there and I'm, like, working, and, like, every once in a while I, like, turn around. There's nothing behind me. I was, like, I turn around, there's, like, yeah, there's a window, but it's on a second story, so it's, like, it's not, like, there's nothing there, right? But it made me want to close my curtains. I felt watched. I felt it was bad. So I was like, I didn't want... That was a good story. Where is it? The Dark Somnium, when he read the Hidden Web Page. Because he's really good at... His production value is really good, too. Because I'm a really big fan of when, like, horror readers will also... Like, horror story readers, when they put in, like... When they put in, like, extra sounds. Like, when they put in, like, sound effects and, like, other, like, audio in there, and Dark Somnium is, like, one of the very few who actually does that. So I am, like, I love his work a lot. The production value is fantastic, and I love listening to it. He recently, started doing his own, version of Baraska, and that is, like, a classic horror story. That one is, like, that one's up there with, like, Pen Pal as, like, a really, really the Third Parent. Like, those ones are, like, really, really popular, like, horror stories. He started doing his own version of Baraska, and I can't wait. If he does do Baraska V, I'm gonna listen to that so quick. Baraska is really good because it's not horror in it being... Because Baraska is also terrifying. Baraska is a horrifying story, but it's not horrifying because it's paranormal. It's horrifying because it could just happen. It's horrifying because it's real, and that's, like, it's terrifying. He did? Oh, yeah. It's a more recent one. Slowly getting into horror. I was really scaredy cat kid, so it's a process. Oh, I was too! Yeah, when I hit 13, I think, I was like, you know what? I am really scared. I'm really tired of being scared of walking into a Walmart every time Halloween comes around. So I am going to start getting into horror. So I started reading horror as my bedtime stories. I started watching horror playthroughs, stuff like that. And I will say I don't recommend that method because I had perhaps the worst paranoia I have ever had in my entire life for like a year or two straight. And then one day I just got used to it. And now I love horror, and it's rare to find something that'll, like, properly scare me, I think. When I first listened to it, I wasn't too impressed, but as the story progressed, I was hooked. Oh yeah, Baraska is one of those stories that, like, gets you. It's that one where you're like, oh no. And then Baraska V, and you're like, oh no! It's good, though. It's a good one. But again, it's not scary because it's not scary because it's paranormal, it's scary because it's super real and could just happen, so just letting everybody know if you've never listened to it, you want to, pretty heavy TW, you know? Because there's a lot that goes on in that one. Where to start drawing? Do you have to learn drawing circle? How do you learn drawing circle? Have you start anywhere? Not a character. You start anywhere, man. If you have never drawn before, you're trying to get into art, figure out if you like it first, draw what you like. Do not think about studying first. Do not think about, like, oh, what's the proper way to start? Don't think about that. Don't even get close to that. Draw just what you like for, like, a couple years. And then, once you want to start, like, properly improving, then that's when you start going, okay, it's like, what do you think is a better process of starting this? What do you think is blah, blah, blah? Just start by doing what you think you would enjoy doing. And that is the best way that you can start getting into art. You think I was studying ever since I was a kid? No! Of course not. I just did whatever the heck I wanted. So, that's what I'm telling you to do. Do whatever the heck you want. Especially when you're starting. Hi, Colfer. How are you doing? Based on a true story at the end of a horror movie is the worst. This one isn't based on a true story. It's just, it could happen. Baraska could 100% happen. Colfer, we're doing an art style study, and I am talking about, my Roman Empire that is horror stories. Yeah, hope you're doing well. Yeah. One horror scene you draw fan art of? Same. I don't really draw fan art as much anymore. I used to draw a lot of fan art. Unless you count, like, me drawing my friends' characters as fan art. Which then, I'm like, yeah, I do that all the time. Oh, whoops. There we go. And then, what are we going to do for the background? Let's go with black, because I like the ones where she does the very, like, just blackout backgrounds. And then adds in some extra interest into there. Q-Code is a producer of Baraska, like a lot of their stuff, amazing quality for most of their stuff. Producer? You mean the writer? The writer of Baraska is CK Walker. I think so. Baraska. Oh no, never mind. It's Rebecca Klingel. Oh yeah, under her name CK Walker. Yeah. I didn't know that was her real name. Oh, yeah. No, CK Walker is a legendary horror story writer, like on the online space. What else did she write? Baraska's a really, really big one. I think she also did the third parent, didn't she? I could be wrong. Blue Ridge at Baraska. Copper Canyon. Oh, the Lost Town of Deepwood, Pennsylvania was a big one. Oh, Room 733, if I remember. If that's the one I'm thinking of, then yeah. Oh, Tall Man was good. What's Going On in Pinal County, Arizona? If that's the one I'm thinking of too, that one was also really good. Yeah, CK Walker's like a really big horror writer. Do streamers commissioning you technically count as fan art? I mean, in a way, I guess. Okay. What we are going to get into now is just the flat colors. I'm just going to decide what I want to do. Whoops, for a lot of the color. None of this color is going to be, like, concrete. I'm just kind of putting down some colors to, whoops, get an idea of what I want. Just close up some gaps here. Hello? Where? What are we talking about here? Okay, I guess. Well, manual it is, because the paint bucket's being annoying. Oh, wait. Was it you? Aha! It was. Okay. Just want to start making animation. I can't do anything without trading videos, and the characters I draw are terrible. Hey, guess what? Did you know that there's something called a stick figure animation? If you want to learn animation, who said you needed to learn by... You needed to start by drawing characters? I promise the skill will come. The skill will come with the practice. Like, that is just, like, a thing that happens to people. I'm gonna do that. And then, we are going to do this. Yes. This is black. His horns are black. I will mess around with the hue of them afterwards, though. I mean, you can't find the cap in line art, yeah. I only sketch my animations, barely make line art, yeah. It's, you know, do what you can. It's that kind of thing where it's like, I can't do this without this. Sure you can. Who told you you could? It's only vector layers, right? Don't really like them. I am using Photoshop, so I don't have vector layers. I know that there are vectors in Photoshop. I just don't really use them because I don't know how. Is Photoshop worth it? Hard to say. It's one of those things where it's like, I use Photoshop because I'm used to it, but like if you've never used it before, like what program do you use right now? Like what? Who is that? Who asked that? I can't say your name out loud. It's Spider. Like what program do you use? Krita? You're gonna have a hard time with anything else. No, then. Not for you. I wouldn't say get Photoshop. I would say switch to CSP if you are trying to get off of Krita. I would say go to CSP, because Photoshop is... Photoshop is a little hard to get into, especially if you are not. Crit is a little bit more like CSP, but even then, sometimes you use Procreate. Okay, then yeah, you would do better with CSP than you would with Photoshop. CSP? You never heard of Clip Studio Paint? Clip Studio is like the Illustrator program. Clip Studio. It's yeah, CSP, Clip Studio Paint. It is, first of all, it's a one-time payment. It's gonna be a lot cheaper for you. Not Clip Studio Paint. What's wrong? It's the program. It is like the advanced program. Scared me off. Clip Studio Paint is fantastic. It's, if you can't handle CSP, then you can't handle Photoshop. Like, CSP and Photoshop are super similar. Like, super similar. So upset the CSP can't draw lines by holding down a button, though. Photoshop does have that? Yeah, so Photoshop, what you can do is you can hold down Shift. Whoopsies. You can hold down Shift, and then you just get like a, whoops, Shift, and you can do perfect, like, up and down like that. Clip Studio Paint works more like this, where you can draw a bunch of straight lines like that, but they go in a bunch of different directions. I wouldn't know how to make it perfectly horizontal. If you can. Which you probably can, I just don't know how. You used to Krita first before moving to CSP? I would not suggest Krita. That's my thing. Is if you are moving to CSP, either do CSP first, or don't use Krita first. Because Krita is stupid different than every other program. If your first program was Krita, the difficulty you are going to have moving on to a different program is massive, because Krita is like, their shortcuts are so different by comparison to every other program, and it makes it really, really complicated to use. Medibang to Photoshop. Medibang to Photoshop should be fine. Like, I mean, for the beginning of the channel, I went Photoshop to Medibang. And Medibang has the same shortcuts as Photoshop. The biggest problem is that they, it's very limiting. But if you go from Medibang to Photoshop, then suddenly you're like, oh my gosh, the world has opened to me, you know? Okay. Photoshop seems a little like Krita, and I understand the tools, unlike CSP. CSP and Photoshop are exactly the same. Let me open my CSP. Alright. You've got your brush, you've got eraser, you've got lasso, everything like that. Same color picker. There's different brush sizes, different brushes used on here. Layers are exactly the same. Different, like, different, like, things you can select from here. Exactly the same as well. Like, let me just, like, you know, they are, like, the same program. Then again, I moved my windows around a lot so that it looks more like Photoshop, but they are pretty much the same. Looking for another program because I'm not happy with Medibang brushes. Medibang brushes are terrible. Oh my lord, Medibang brushes are terrible. I couldn't deal with the brushes that were in Medibang because it was a nightmare to have to use other brushes that were not mine. It was rough. Because it was that thing where, like, I had to, you know, I'm using Medibang for the channel mostly. And I'm like, oh shoot, they don't have this kind of brush. Oh shoot, their airbrush doesn't work the same way that it does here. It's not as good. That kind of thing. It was hard to work with. It was hard to work with. And then making your own brushes is also terrible in Medibang because it's not that good. And then you can't even you can't download external brushes either, so it's not good in that regard. Medibank brushes are not good. Like, it was not a good time. I'm using Photoshop for schoolwork because of the program I'm doing. Kind of worried because it looks so intimidating. Photoshop looks intimidating. I think it's one of those things where, yeah, this is a very intimidating layout. It is not a beginner-friendly layout, but I learned Photoshop bit by bit. It was that kind of thing where it was like, okay, I've identified where this is. I've identified where that is. I still don't know how to use everything in Photoshop. Like, I know a good amount. I don't know everything. And, like I'm still learning Photoshop things to this day. And hey man, that's fine. What I'm doing right now is I am slightly mimicking the painting patterns. I'm not smoothing anything out just yet. I'm just mimicking the patterns that I see on her work and where she puts like shadows and things like that. Where she puts shadows, what colors she uses, things like that. How she shades her work, that sort of thing. It's hard because like all of the characters that she draws are more fair-skinned, so it's harder to find somebody who's not fair-skinned. A lot of them are like multicolored, like there's a lot of like different like colors in general, but not a lot of them are like dark, so it's hard to find a reference or something to go off of for that, how she would handle that. So I am doing my best to sort of approximate just based on what I'm seeing. I'm also trying to be way more saturated than I normally work because she is very saturated. So this is very like, ugh, for me, because I'm like, I don't like this much saturation. It makes me feel awkward. Draw on Krita because it's really easy to navigate and the brushes are really great. I do not like how Krita navigates. Then again, like I grew up on Photoshop CSP, those kinds of layouts. It's what I say to people. I'm like, Krita is good if Krita is your first program. And it's not bad even if it's not your first program, but it is difficult to navigate if you are not used to it because Krita is so different from everything else. So Krita users who need to switch off of Krita tend to have a really tough time because they're not used to outside programs. And it tends to be really tough for outside, for Krita users who need to switch off for, like, say, jobs or for just other programs that they're being told to use, that kind of thing. Because in, like, professional settings, Krita is rarely a program that people will ask you to use. Like, it'll most likely be, like, Photoshop or CSP. It'll be one of those two more likely than not. Easily they all attached characters aside Deadpool and Wolverine a while ago, and Gambit is not my new favorite obsession. Depends. I usually only attach to characters really easily if they're mine or a friend of mine's. I used to attach to characters a lot easier when I was younger. Now that I'm older, I'm more like, I want to see what your original work is. Even when I go to, like, artist sallies in, like, conventions or whatever, I'll be like, oh, this, like, fan art's cute, but, like, where are your originals? I want to see your original work. I'm not interested in this. Where's the stuff that you do, that you want to show up? I remember going up to one artist and I was like, yeah, no, I'm just really into seeing, like, the originals from artists. And she's like, that means a lot. I don't like that color. Let's... I hate painting in lips, dude. I'm just so bad at it. And, like, I'm trying to mimic how she does hers. They don't have a lot of definition. It's very, like... rounded. They're kind of just there, and then they have like a highlight or two. They kind of look like they're like chafed and like cracked. Again, I'm just kind of putting down like base colors right now. I'm not really worried about the rendering too much. I'm sort of just putting down what I need to put down before I like soften things up like properly. Because right now we're just sort of working with what we got. I got Fresco on my iPad to see if like Photoshop and I was wrong. Adobe Fresco! Yo, I hate Fresco. Fresco is just worse Procreate. That's it. Want CSP, but it's too pricey for Canada? I mean, I'm in Canada. It's not that bad, I don't think. I think CSP just goes on sale a lot, so just wait for a sale. I got mine for 20 bucks. Because view shading came one of my favorite things to do while drawing. That's fun. That's nice. Yeah, shading is fine. I like rendering, like painting when I'm shading a lot more. Like that's kind of my jam. If I have the time and ability to paint, then I am like, yes, I will paint. I will do that because that's fun. But most of the time I don't. So I just gotta work with what I got. A little bit of like extra lightness under the eyes when she works as well. Just really highlighting the forms of the eyes going on a lot. There's a little bit of lightness down here too. Yeah, CSP does also have a trial option, yeah. Oh my god, we have an hour left? Help me. I wasn't looking at the time at all. That's okay, I'll just speed up a little bit. Yeah, see, $70 doesn't seem worth it. If you don't think $70 is worth it, I want you guys to, without looking it up, I want you guys to try and guess how much you think Photoshop is every year. It is a subscription. Okay. And consider again that CSP is a one-time payment. Colfer's winning so far. Without Googling it, I want you to guess. Matt Kelly, you've pretty much got it. It is $178, usually. And I have the cheaper version. So, yeah. And that's yearly. That's yearly, right? So $70 once, and then you never have to pay it again. And that's full price CSP, which you're most likely not going to be paying because it goes on sale a lot. It's not that bad. I promise, it's not that bad. There are far worse prices you could get. So yes, I do think CSP is worth the $70. Because it is essentially just Photoshop, just a little different. And the reason I don't use it is just because those little differences make that difference for me. So I just don't use it. But if you are deciding on what program you are going to use, you are picking CSP, and that is me telling you you are picking CSP. Because that is the absolute better option. Like, financially, it is 100% the better option. Yeah, I got CSP for like $30. Yeah, I got mine for 25. Yeah. Photoshop or Clip Studio Paint better? Depends on what you're trying to use it for. They both have different things. They're very similar, but they have different things in each program. It is not a matter of what is better, it is a matter of preference, in my opinion. But if one of those preferences is something that is cheaper, then you are getting CSP. Because Photoshop is not cheaper than CSP is. Like, that is like a promise. That's not even like an opinion, that is a fact. Because Photoshop is expensive, dude. I am like sweating because my Photoshop payments are coming up and I'm like, oh, yep, another year of paying. If you notice I'm doing the eyes last, that's just because I want to do them last, because I think it would be fun. Procreate's kind of good, I just don't like to draw on it because it's frustrating. I like Procreate. I think Procreate is just a little too simple for me, was my thing. It was like, Procreate just doesn't have enough on it for me. The people who make Procreate brushes are great, though. They make some really, really good ones, some really funny ones. Same with CSP brush people, they're really cool. I just found the Procreate was just too simple for me. I'm like, I am the type of person who really likes these big, busy, like, layouts. I love the tons of things going on. I love having a lot of options. Some of them which I'll never use ever. I'm like, I kind of like that. So I'm like, that's why I like Photoshop and CSP a lot. Because they give me just, like, way too much. Better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it, you know? So don't mind me, I'm just smoothing out some of this shading before I move on to the hair. After I, like, do the very sort of base line, I'm also, you notice I'm not using an airbrush. I want this to look really painted. I want it to look sort of splotchy because, again, her work is traditional, so I don't want it to look too smooth. I'm actually gonna swap the brush that I'm using. So this one, yes, I'm gonna use this one. This will give me the more look of, whoopsie doodle, this one right here, which kind of has this sort of splotchy look to it. I'm gonna try and imitate that a little bit with this brush. This brush is kind of splotchy. It's good to have a bunch of different brushes, in my opinion. This is a good one to have for this specific situation. I like this one as well. This is like a skin texture brush, if I remember correctly. So it gives you that kind of like pore look. If I remember correctly, this is from Devin L. Kurtz. I could be wrong, though. Yeah. Yeah, Procreate is just a program that I just don't use much at all, actually. I don't have an iPad. So the only times that I get to use it are when, like, a friend will come over who has Procreate, and then I just play with it, because I can. But more often than not, I don't have that option. Lots of people like Procreate, though. Like, I can see why, too. It's a cool program. Especially for, like, how cheap it is. Procreate is very, very worth the cash that you're paying. Let's brighten this up here. Soften this out a little bit. Just a smidge. Just bring in that texture from the cheeks. Yeah. Cool. I'm also going to sharpen this under eye, actually. The inner corners of the eye here as well. Just sell that texture and that, like, shape difference. We've kind of got it going on, because it's very, very sharp in a lot of her work as well. Just in that general area. And then, the fun part, which is just... boop. It's like usually like right around here, actually. Just kind of on the tip of the nose there. And then a little bit on the lips. Just a little highlight does so much. It's just like a whoa, instant texture, you know? Who are we drawing? This is my friend's character, Aetros. He is not mine. He is our party's sorcerer warlock, Tiefling, who is our healer. How do you draw so fast? 23 years of drawing. Love Procreate, I don't have an iPad. You can get some pretty cheap used iPads nowadays. And Procreate doesn't take that much to run, if I remember correctly, so it shouldn't be the worst, even if you have an older iPad. Like, there are some functions that might not work great, but overall it should be fine. It's true. I did make a deal with some kind of, like, art demon, as Vin says. Truly, I sold my soul to some kind of demon. I don't remember what their name was. I can't pronounce it. I can't say it with the human tongue. So, you know... My answer is 23 years of drawing. What demon was it? I can't say it with the human tongue. I think the objects in my room would start to float. I think they would find me if I said it out loud. Yeah, nothing we haven't all done before, you know? This is just standard practice. Stuff that happens, you know? We're going to do that magic, so I can bring back in more of the hair. Cool and epic. Magic one of these guys, too. Cool. I don't have a hairbrush because I don't like hairbrushes. It's rare that they ever look good for me. Rare that they ever look good to me. I don't like hairbrushes. I think that they all kind of look bad. That's a personal thing, though. What's this one? I have this funny brush, which is really interesting. What do I got? What do I have lying around? Halftones. I have this freckle brush, which I will be using. Ready? Ooh! Let's use this one. Sure. Was it shield? Are you gonna get banished by the demons if you do? No, I just think something, world-ending will happen if I do. So, I shouldn't say it. Alright, let's see how Hikari Shimoda handles hair, because this is hard. Alright, let's see. Let's start with our basic shadow and then we can go from there, because this is going to be a learning curve, because I don't render hair like this ever. Okay, and let's just start adding color. Because it's very, very colorful, the way that they do it. It's very, like... I look at it and I'm like, it's very trust the process. Like, I don't really see a rhyme or reason. It's kind of just pick it based on the value, not necessarily the hue. And just kind of trust that it'll work. And I'm like, alright, I guess I trust you. I just don't work like this ever. I was gonna try something which would have been really experimental and fun, but I'm like, at the same time, I'm like, I don't think it works like that. I was gonna like try to just create a brush really quickly that changed up, what do you call it? I was gonna put on a filter which made it all like black and white, and then I was going to try to, oh, let's use this brush. I was gonna work in like black and white and then like just have a brush that has like a hue jitter so that like the color changes with every stroke that I do, but this hair has more organization than that, so that won't really work in this case. We're experimenting with this sort of strand of hair here, and then we'll go from there. Because right now I just don't really know what I'm doing. This brush also doesn't look good. Hang on. I'm like, let's try this brush! And then I tried it for a while, and the more I used it, the more I hated it. I'm just trying to find a faster solution than doing this all... like that. Alright, let's... Always get hue, value, and saturation mixed up. I don't have a way to remember it, I just remember it. HSV. Hue, saturation, value. Hue is color, value is light or dark, saturation is how bright. That's all you need to know. Well, I mean, there's other things too, but that's the basic things. The big things you need to know. I'm just gonna do this really quick, again, like color block it in, and then worry about... Sure! Let's go with that. I'm just gonna color block in all of this before I go in and like properly render out the hair, because that's going to be one of the longer processes. If I don't get to properly render out the hair, I've got about a half hour left. I'm gonna do the eyes first then. So then I don't have to worry about me not having the eyes done, because that is like a pivotal part of her work. So I want that in there at the very least. So let's just do some funky hair. That kind of gives off what we're going for, at the very least. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. think the reflection of the cheeks and the pink from the hair may not have been intentional. It's not, no. It was just messing with color. If you look at, again, her work, it's just super colorful. So it is mostly just me playing with said color and trying to make it, like, it's very oh gosh. There's a specific term for it in art where, especially online, and especially in online spaces, this type of art is the one that's taught or seen as correct, because it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna draw what I see. I'm going to draw what is in front of me. I'm going to draw what is, you know, right there. But that is not how art always works. And in the case of this artist, in the case of Hikari Shimoda, she doesn't do that kind of art. She just kind of draws straight from the imagination. She does a lot of more interpretive art, that kind of way of working. And especially with people who are industry artists who are more traditional in the sense of, like, yes, I'm going to draw from observation, I'm going to draw this way, I'm going to draw that way. Like, that way of working is incorrect, just because it doesn't match with what is considered quote-unquote industry standard, right? And I am that kind of artist as well. I am going to draw what works, I am going to draw what is in front of me, because that is just what I am being taught to draw, what I have to draw. But that is not the case for every artist, and in the case of this one, that is not what she's doing. So it's like, it is a cool observation to be like, oh yeah, it's like, it's the reflection off of the cheek, so it makes sense. That is not what I was intending to do. Even if it was like, it's like you're saying, like, even if it was not intentional, it's cool. But in this way of working, we are not focusing on what is real. We are not focusing on what is in front of us. She shot from imagination so well. Hikari Shimoda age. Calculator. I'm bad at math. Oh, that's, yeah, 20 from 19. She's 40. 40 years of drawing. I draw straight from the imagination too. It's practice. It is all practice. How do you do that? How do you get good at that? You practice. You keep doing it. How do you get better at something? You keep doing it. And that is, unfortunately, the secret, is you just keep doing it. If you sit there and you keep telling yourself, oh, I'll never be as good as you, then you're right. Because you've already failed if you think that you'll never be as good as somebody. You look at somebody, and the best way that you can think of it is instead going like, I'm not there yet, but I can't wait for when I am. You know? Some of my students are better than me, and they don't even realize it. But at the same time, that isn't to discount using references, right? The only time where you will tell yourself, like, oh, I'm not going to use references at all, right? That is when your visual library is very strong. And that, again, also takes years and practice and takes a long time to be able to get there, right? How do you get there? I have been drawing for 23 years, all right? It's not like I woke up one day and I'm like, yep, I'm like this. It's because I have been doing this for so long. It's because I have been practicing and getting better. I've been to multiple schools, right, that I have gotten to where I am today, right? And that is not something that can be bought. It's not something that can be generated. It's not something that, you know... It's like a gift. You're naturally born talent. It's practice. You can do it if you just practice. It's true. But you gotta make sure that you're practicing correctly as well. Usually when people tell me, it's like, how do I start? Start by just drawing what you enjoy, man. Because some people just don't like art as well. Like, you might learn that you actually don't like drawing. And that's fine too. Like, some people just don't really like art or like the process of drawing. Because I'm sorry to tell you, it takes a really long time. And that kind of patience, like, I am an impatient person, right? It's why I learned to draw so fast. But it takes a long time to be able to get better and to do stuff that you enjoy and to get good at whatever practice it is that you hope to get better at, you know? Can't teach experience. It's true. Experience is the best teacher. I'm gonna do a fun little trick here. Because the way that she draws her horns is kind of like she has a... It's almost like they have like a ring of like hue around. I'm gonna do it a little bit different. I'm gonna have it so that the lightness actually is on the inside. What we're gonna do is this is me masking off a certain part. So if I deselect, it looks like that. And it gives it a kind of interesting look, I think. It's a bit similar to her process. Not exactly, but it has the same sort of idea, you know? This is an airbrush this time as well. Because this one looks really smooth on hers too. So we're gonna do that instead. And then which actually, I'm looking at it now, it's highlighted by like really sharp hues like this. And then it's like, yeah, and then that, I do this technique sometimes too. I like to do this for eye shines. If you look at some of my work, you really zoom in. Like, I like to do that on eye shines a lot. Is like add a little bit of hue to the outside of the, here, look at this commission I just did, right? If you zoom in and you look at like the eye shine, I like to do this. I like to add chromatic aberration to my eye shines, just because I think it makes it look really cool. It's like a small, tiny little detail, but like it gives... It makes it look a little more punchy, I think. Just adding like a slight hue around your highlight looks great. How do you feel about Clip? Oh, I love Clip. Clip's a great program. How did you find your art style? Because I'm not sure if I found mine yet. It says Shiny Relic? Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that you're never really sure whether you've found it or not, I think. I can tell you right now you have one. It's that thing, it's whatever is your default. Whatever, an art style genuinely is just whatever your default way of drawing is. And you might be like, oh, I have no art style. I draw differently every single time. You don't. I can tell you right now, you don't. It's that thing where it might feel a little different to you each time, but you could get your friends and they'd be like, and you say like, oh, it's your friends who you show your work to a lot, and you say like, oh, it's like, can you tell which one of these works is mine? They'll be able to. Because you have a style. It's like, you might think you don't, but you do. And it's just because of a maybe specific way that you work. Maybe it's a specific way that you draw your character, a specific type of character that you draw as well. Your biases also, your biases are also like a way for people to identify your art style. Sorry, I'm moving my references around over here. Your biases are a really big reason. Why your art style will shine through. I tend to like more sporty body types, so that tends to be what I do a lot. Does a style work with different things like dinosaurs? Yes. A style does not mean, is not like, oh, I draw ponies this way. I draw people this way. I draw that. You use the same lines. You use similar colors. You probably shade every single one the exact same way. Unless you are deciding, oh, I am going to paint this pony like Monet, and then I am going to shade this human like Junji Ito, and then I'm going to draw this bird, oh, what's his name? The guy who made the Ben Day dots. Hang on. Roy Lichtenstein. And then I'm gonna work like Roy Lichtenstein for this other one. You have a style. It's one of those things where you have it. You do. And, like, I can't explain it any other way than being like, you just have to trust me. It's like, you'll look back on your work and you're like, oh yeah, I did. You know? I'm gonna jump scare some of you for a second. We're gonna... The interesting thing about these eyes, like, the way that she works, is they're so, like, nonsensical. I can't really describe how you would work with this. They're very, very, like, fascinating in the way where I don't really understand how I would make rhyme or reason. Very similar to the hair, because I am really not the best when it comes to experimenting with color. So I'm like, I don't totally know what she's doing here in terms of that. And it might just be, the simplest answer may just be she just felt like it. It's that thing where it's like, I don't really know what I'm doing. This is kind of just what my heart is telling me what to do. And I just kind of have to be like, okay, guess I'll trust the process too, you know? All I know is that these colors are really, really bright. There's a lot of cool, like, ways of working going on in here. On a good structure, I generally prefer to draw from the imagination. Yeah. I think it's good to have a balance of both. If you are... Alright, friends. I think I said something wrong. Alright. For those of you who are in chat right now who want to work as an artist, tell me now. Which of you would like to have art be your job? And which of you would rather have art just be your hobby? Not me, that's fair, Vin. Yeah, don't say anything if you don't want art to be your job. Or just say, I don't want art to be my job. Or if you want art to be your job, say it now. Be like, yeah, I want art. I want to work as an artist. Supposed to not play Pokemon. Hi, babe. Me. Art teacher. Love to work as an artist. Ornithology, paleontology. Okay. For those of you who said, me, I want to work as an artist. Unfortunately for you, you are no longer a hobbyist. You need to be a professional artist. This means now you do have to learn things like anatomy. You need to be really good at it too. You need to know things about color. If I tell you, yeah, if I told you you need to you need to change the hue for me, up the saturation, lower the value, and then make sure it's punchier than the last form, you need to know exactly what that means. If you are the type of person who's like, oh, I want to work from the imagination, perhaps you'd like to be a gallery artist. That is a very different type of artist, and that type of artist is far more difficult to become. Art as a job is hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is difficult. I'm not saying that you can't do it. It's just hard, right? And as a person who does art as a job, I recommend it, but just letting you know that it is difficult. It's one of those things where people will see artists and they might glorify it, They might be like, oh, it's like, it's so fun. It's so, like, you get to just draw every day, and you get to... You ever heard the saying, do what you love and you never have to work a day in your life? It's a lie. It certainly helps. I love being an artist. I wouldn't trade it for the world. That doesn't mean that it's going to be a cakewalk every single day. It is hard. Some days it is difficult for me to sit down at my tablet because I just don't want to draw. And I don't have a choice because I have to work. And it's complicated. You want to do art as a job? Don't. No. I recommend it. If you want to try art as a job, you can absolutely try. I'm not saying you shouldn't. It's just very difficult. And it's one of those things where you have to be prepared for it not to work out. I so happen to be really, really lucky. And I have a family who's really into art. I have a family who is very supportive of me, right? And it's fun. It's like, I like being in an artist family, but it is not simple. It's not easy. And, like, I can't sugarcoat that for you. Like, I can't be like, oh yeah, just follow your dreams, it'll work out for everybody. I can't say that. Like, I can't reliably be like, that's gonna work for everyone. I can say that I recommend it. I can say that I think you can certainly try. And I can say that it will be a great journey no matter what happens to you. But I can't say that everybody can do it professionally 24/7 all the time, because that's just not how it always is for everyone. Even some of the most professional artists that you know and you love probably have a second job, which they might call their day job. My day job just so happens to also be art. Is it fun for most of the time? Yeah, I would say so. It's nice to work with clients. It's nice to talk to you guys. It's nice to, sit down. I will say, it's weirdly not always the best to work from home. I miss working in a studio. I miss interacting with people more. It can get lonely. You're just kind of sitting here, It can get lonely, and I don't live alone. Art's hard. It's very difficult. Yeah, if you want to work as an artist as a job, you need to really love it. Because if you don't, it's soul-crushing. And that's not a joke. Art is an incredibly difficult job. I don't care what anybody says. Like, some people will tell you, like, oh, you're just drawing every single day. It's not that bad. It's because they've never done it before. Art is an incredibly difficult job. And weirdly enough, I wouldn't wish it on anybody. Whoa! You hear that? Sorry, that was some loud thunder. It's worth it. In a way. Oh, have people seen interviews with Hayao Miyazaki? Bro hates everything. That's the creator of Studio Ghibli. Bro hates everything, dude. It's fascinating, actually. It's very, like... He's just tired all the time. Always wants to retire, kind of thing. It's not as magical as you might think. Felt TBH, yeah. Plan on working on Wing Canvas forever, expanding to different places? I'm not sure. I mean... We'll see. Whatever the future holds. I want to retire, I don't even have a job yet, that's real. Yeah, I think it's important to recognize that online spaces sort of glamorize a lot of different lives, a lot of different jobs. It was like there was somebody in the Discord at one point, and I showed up to like moderate a little bit, and they were like I can't believe I'm talking to a millionaire. That's funny. That's hilarious. I wish, dude. I wish. I do. I need to have a level of art you're on. I'm struggling to define it so I can improve. Lol, yeah. I don't know how to define what level you're on per se. Like how to but it's better to learn to self-assess. I've always found where find artists that you really, really enjoy, and more likely than not, they're going to be better than you are. And then when you are able to point out flaws that they have reliably and then are able to fix it reliably, then that's when you know that you are a level above said person. And then you can keep getting more and more artists who may be, quote-unquote, a higher level than you, or whatever. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Other people, what level you are by comparison to other people doesn't really matter. It's just how you sort of handle your own work in that regard. And how you as an artist are going to improve. Makes a genius artist, you think? You ever met any? Oh yeah. I met a bunch of artists who I would consider them a genius. And what makes a genius artist is subjectivity. Some people really like artists and other people don't. Some people really like art styles and other people don't. It's subjective. It's all subjective at the end of the day. Because you can have somebody be a professional artist and one person is like, I love this art style, I would die for this art style. And other people would be like, I hate this art style with every bone in my body. And they're a professional artist. Considered perhaps like a master artist. For instance, I really, really dislike the art style of One Piece. Some people will swear by it and say it is one of the best art styles ever because it's super unique and it doesn't look anything like other anime art styles, right? Unique does not mean good in my eyes. I do not like how it is handled. I think that the women are very two-toned if they are meant to be attractive. I don't like the proportioning of the facial features. I do not like the proportioning of a lot of the bodies. You know, that kind of thing. And it's very, very, it's different for each person, right? Because some people, again, will swear by it. And they'll be like, no, 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 this art style's really, really good, right? And guess what? They're considered a master artist. It's true. So it's subjective. It's whatever is subjective. Don't really like anime art at all. Here's the thing, is that at the end of the day, like One Piece, Oda's work is not super, like, in tune with very, very classic anime. His work is very different by comparison to what is considered a more classic anime look, right? I don't really, here's the thing too, is this is the contradictory part of me specifically, is I also don't really like when anime kind of falls into that very traditional anime look. I want it to look different. I really like Junji Ito for that reason, because he kind of leans more into realism. Or, the illustrator for not One Piece, sorry. The illustrator for One Punch Man, also as well. I can't remember his name for the life of me right now. But his work also is very, very fascinating to me. I really love it. And his as well is very, very, like, realistic. It's highly realistic, actually. The techniques are, like, really, really rooted in realism. And they're really good. If any of you have heard of The Girl from the Other Side, that art style is to die for. Love it a lot. Very, very different. Still a manga, though. Right? But, again, very subjective. Very, very subjective. Jujutsu Kaisen is standard. I think that art style is standard. Neither here nor there about it. I think it's fine. Oshi no Ko. I know that name. I'm let's see if it's the right thing. Oh, standard. Sorry. That's also a very standard looking style for me. I'm just like, it's not interesting. I'm like, yeah, it's just an anime, I guess. Yes, we do have a Discord server. Funky star eyes. Let's kind of lower some of this line art just so it's not as in our face. The black isn't so abrasive because we really don't want it to be black per se. We just want it to be slightly highlighting what it is that we got here. So I do not have much time left. So it's time for finishing touches. Not the worst. You know, not too bad for like 2 hours. Could have been better. But whatever. Let's keep going. Because now comes the part where we just add a bunch of funny little details. As if there are like stars and stickers all over the face. What kind of games do you play? I love heavy story. I'm a big heavy story kind of person. Like RPGs. I like farming sims. The one I'm currently playing is Outer Wilds. Loving Outer Wilds. Great time. Critically acclaimed for a reason. Anything Annapurna Interactive produced is good in my eyes. Because I didn't realize how many of my favorite games are produced by Annapurna, and I'm like, alright, I guess I trust you guys with my life now. Like Pokemon, of course. I'm dating a Pokemon streamer. What's your favorite rock band? What counts as rock? I like a lot of metal. I don't know how much that counts as rock. I mean, I would say A Day to Remember. I don't know if that counts. I think you replicated it pretty well. Thank you, Joe. I did my best. I want this part to look a little rough when it's close up, because when you zoom out, it'll look a lot better. And it's cute. Let's shrink some of these a bit smaller. More glittery. Oh, Gemshim? No. Gemshim Impact. Not my thing. What's an art skill that I'm personally working on? Getting better with color. Getting better with color. Getting used to drawing vehicles. Armor. Armor is a big one. Metal rendering. I think I'm like okay at. I'm getting better at it. I enjoy it a lot. I'm just not the best, I don't think. So I'm like trying to get better at that too. Still trying to learn anime. Anime is pretty weird enough. Weirdly enough, anime is actually very rooted in realism. So you're gonna want a lot of those fundamentals if you're gonna get better at more like heavy anime art. Oh, what's my favorite rock? Just in general? Oh, that's hard. I like jade. I really like jade. I like jade. I like amethyst. I like rose quartz. I'm too ADHD for Outer Wilds. Nah, man. That's the best thing about Outer Wilds. Is that you want to learn everything. I kind of forgot that this is supposed to be inspired by, like, a supernova. Whoops. Oh well. Paleo art videos or animal videos? I don't know about paleo art. I've never done it properly, so it's not really my thing. Animal videos are coming out soon. I'll just say that. It's coming soon. Try and practice head heights again. Good luck! I forgot a couple things here. The hair is not good, but we're just gonna pretend that it's fine enough. We're gonna pretend that it's, like, good enough, because it does not look good, but, like, I don't have the time to fix it properly. So instead, we pretend. I think the eyes are pretty alright, though. Like, if we take the, like, the inspiration stuff. You know, not too bad, I don't think. It's like, again, for 2 hours, not the worst. Could have been better, could have been worse. But, you know, I think it was replicated, like, fairly okay. You know, could have been poppier with the colors, maybe. I'm just gonna cheat a little bit. Let's just, like... Hang on. Yeah, there you go. Just, whoops. Oh my god. Whoops. Yeah. There we go. A bit poppier. That looks a bit better. Yeah. Yeah, could have been better. It's okay. Yeah, I think my proportions are a little too me. I didn't quite get her, I don't think, with the positioning of the face. The eyes, I think, are pretty good, though. The face rendering. Do we need to pretend because it's not just the usual star? Are you being modest here? No, I'm this is me, my genuine, like, my, my, like, recapping with myself. I'm like, I could have been better here. Probably would have, like, looked better if I did that or this or whatever. For darker works, I have become very colorful as of late. I think I'm trying to get better with brighter colors. Here, like, if I show you, like, my most recent character. I mean, Jar isn't super colorful. They just wear something really colorful. And then we'll call it. Just give me a second. I got to play my first session with Jar. It was fun. Night Jar. Yeah, I'm trying to get better with, like, using different colors in my work, because usually my characters are very muted. I'm like, even in one of the newer girls, Lonnie, she's, like, all white. Like, what am I gonna do? I'm like, I can add a little color on Night Jar, sure. Let's make them have a little bit of color, you know? Oh well, it's funny. Jar is not for D&D. Jar is for Candela, so they're a human. And because it's for Candela, they're an occultist, which is, you know, again, very different way of playing than D&D. It is still tabletop, but it's a different, yes. It's a pretty unusual style, yeah, but, you know, I could have done better. Alright, though, everybody, thank you so much for joining today. That is 501. Thank you so much for joining. Again, we'd like to thank our sponsor for this stream, XP Pen. Have an awesome selection of digital art tablets for both beginners and advanced artists. So if you're looking for an affordable and reliable digital tablet, go browse their store. You'll find a link in the description of this video. Cool and epic. This file that you see in front of you... Oh, actually, sorry. Hey. wingcanvas.com. Check out the classes that we offer over there. Yippee hooray! Check out the classes that are over on Wing Canvas. I'm not too I don't think the early bird prices are up anymore. I could be wrong, but we still have slots available for our fall classes that are coming up. I'm teaching digital art once again, and then I will also be teaching my mentorship class again. Pretty cool, pretty epic. So pop in, join the class. Cool stuff. This file that you see in front of you will be available on our Discord, !Discord. Join in, say hi. Pop in and say hello to all the fellow art nerds. Cool stuff, cool and epic. Where are you? Over there. Pop and say hi to the other art nerds. Say hi to me. I might be there sometimes. So you can chat with other people who are also really, really into art. But if you'd like our working files, I kind of worked on like 3 layers exclusively. 4 layers on this one. So it's not that interesting. But from our streams, if you would like to see our working files, you're going to have to become a Patreon member. Patreon or become a YouTube member. If you become either of those as well, OG Art Nerd, or higher, I believe, is what it is. Hey, you can join in sometimes and talk with the streamers in VCs where we will critique your work. Pretty cool stuff. I love doing those days. It's fun to do. I am always on the first Wednesday of every month. So you join in, you come say hi, and we chat about your artwork, and I give you some live crit. Pretty cool. Not just me, the other streamers as well. Iggy, Josh, and Faye all have our own time slots during the month. So if you'd like to pop in, that sounds interesting, hey, YouTube or Patreon member. Pretty cool, pretty epic. This Saturday, it is the end of the 3 Jessie streak. I am done for the month, so I will see you guys in September once we come back. But the next stream that you guys have is with Iggy tomorrow. He'll be drawing backgrounds based on emotions for you. And then next week, Saturday, you are with Faye, and she's going to be teaching you how to draw eyes. Cool and epic, cool and epic. So, I'd like to pop into that. Sounds pretty awesome. So, keep an eye out for that. But alright, thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I'll see y'all in September. Au revoir, bye-bye.